Hey, welcome back again. Hey, this is Admin from PlexGuide, as always, right? Anyways, the purpose of this video is to just give you a quick demo on like how to write a script. And like most of my videos, I freelance this. I don't have a script that I like to go off because I don't feel that it's authentic. I don't have to play a ton of music in order to keep you entertained. This is just to the point learning, right? So, anyways, writing a script is very key, and understanding how to use Nano is key because once you kind of got an idea how to do it, you start feeling more comfortable in how to execute it. So the first mistake I had was I had Ubuntu and I'm running it on a desktop, right? Not saying that running Ubuntu is a problem, but it getting caught up on the user interface made me want to learn less. So I relied on the UI, like right clicking and text pad and all that stuff in order to write a script. So anyways, if you watch the other video that talked about like how to navigate, that would help a little bit because it'll help you understand where you are. So right now I'm technically sitting in the home folder of home, the user named home. So in order to write a script, first you need to have Nano installed. So just to make sure that you're good to go, you type apt-get install Nano or apt-get install update if you've never done it before. And then you could type apt-get install Nano, and then you'll be good to go. From here, you would just type the word Nano, and you see that it gives you the ability to just go ahead and start editing. One thing I don't like to do is just do that. What I do is I already like to type the file out. So normally I'll just type Nano, and then you just call it test.sh, right? So you notice right here, here's the given name. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to just make something very simple. So we're going to say echo the cat jumped over the moon, right? And so anytime you're using echo, if you use one word, you don't need the quotations, but it's good practice to do the quotations. Linux is very finicky about white space and not cutting things off, and again, it's taken me months to learn this stuff. So you'll notice that when you're starting to write code and it's not executing well, or Ansbell yelling at you, you'll see the end state of that. So we're going to go ahead and save it. So what I did was I press Control X, and I'm going to hit yes. And right now, if we type ls, we should see test.sh, right? So a problem you're going to run into is that even if you're root, you're going to be like, all right, I want to go ahead and execute this script, right? So a way that you normally see a lot of people execute the script is this means current folder. So because I know it sounds stupid, but this is just basically saying to execute it, but you're going to get a permission denied, right? The way to get around that is that you'll always see bash, and then you just type sh. If you look at my coding, I've been kind of lazy, and I always just put test in that because I hate just modding all the stuff over and over again. Ansible takes care of most of it, but it just prevents problems. So if you type bash test sh, you notice that it executed. See? So bash test sh, good to go. But for some of you that are a little bit curious about, okay, I need a mod it to make it executable, it's good practice to understand this. So if we do lsla, right, like from the other video, you'll notice that if you go to test.sh, that the permissions, are not correct. So it's like read, write, read. So we're going to go ahead and bump those permissions to 755. I believe you can get away with lesser permissions, but just to make this simple. So there's a command here called chmod, and again, this is not the purpose of the video, but chmod 755, we're going to do test.sh, right? And now if I do this, that means current folder, again, like you learned from the last video prior. You see how it executed? So you can get around it two ways. You can do that, or you can just do bash test.sh. And normally you'll see in scripts here, nano test.sh, sometimes you'll see the you'll see like a bin bash up there. It's good practice to put it there, but honestly, a lot of the scripts execute fine. I've never had problems with it. I put it there in case, but many advanced coders will tell you to do it. And it does help I believe it just helps tell the operating system that it is a bash script, and that's the purpose for it. So the thing is, you're like, well, I know how to code perfectly, right? No, you're going to need references. So the great thing is if you have a GitHub and you have note-taking abilities and you document all your stuff, if you document everything, then you're going to start learning how to code. You can watch endless videos about it, but if you don't document what you're doing, you're going to get lost. And honestly, there's many times where I've had to search my own code in order to figure out what to do. So here, this is a startup script for PlexGuide. So what happens is when you execute PlexGuide, it executes a series of commands. See, there's that bash you see right there, yeah, like exactly like what I told you it's doing. So it's executing various things. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let's learn how to store a variable into a script, right? So the thing is, you can create global variables. They kind of work great and they don't. So what I've learned to do is I've learned to store variables in the var folder, which exists on the operating system. So if I go to cd var, if you look here, there's a series of folders that are already here, and you notice one is here is called PlexGuide. So actually, a lot of your variables that run PlexGuide are stored here. So if I type lsla, you'll notice all those variables. See? So if I do cat restore ID, like this above, and cat means to recall what's in the folder. See? So the variable for that is home. So that's the name of the server. So if I execute it, come on up. See how home's right there? So again, that's where a lot of your variables are. Just think of it as a lazy database. So anyways, let's go back and edit that test.sh. So here's test.sh, and oh, because I'm in a different location. cd home. Okay, nano test.sh. So we're going to leave that there. In order to execute a blank space, you just type echo. That's all you need. But so I don't lose my mind, I always like to do that. So it basically results in putting another blank space below this. So we're going to go ahead and store a variable, right? So the one cool thing about it is if you write your variables out like this, like you do this, like if you got to make sure that the folder exists. That is very key. The folder has to exist. But if the variable doesn't exist, it will just go ahead and automatically create it. So we're going to go ahead and type echo PlexGuide.com into, so if you write this right here, this means to store it, and a good practice is to do quotations. You don't need it for one word, but again, it is good practice. And we're going to start with var because we know that exists, and then PlexGuide. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to call it demo var, right? You can name this whatever you want. To be honest with you, you can store variables and put it as demo. But the reason it's not good practice to do that is because you might get confused if it's a folder or if it's an actual file. So you can call it demo sh, demo var, demo ID, whatever you want. So hey, let's just go with demo ID, right? And then what we want to do is we want to recall it. So let's go ahead and we're going to do echo, right? Or actually, we're going to do a cat command, cat. So what cat does is it recalls what was stored in there. So we're going to go ahead and do cat var PlexGuide demo ID. Now this looks kind of silly what we're doing, but it's just the idea of it. So when you're doing echo of this and stored into that, this will not display. This will not display at all. What will display it is this. So we're going to go ahead and close it out. And like I said, by no means am I a perfect coder. I make many mistakes. And you see how I did? The cat jumped over the moon, and then it did a space, and then there came PlexGuide.com. And so just to show you the principle of it, that I'm not going crazy, is that we'll repeat it again. That's good to see. Bash. And there you go. See? So another thing too is like, okay, how do I store stuff into a temporary variable for my script to display something? Well, this is how you would do it. So in my code, you'll find it, but it took me a while to figure all this out. So what you do is you type the word, well, first you type the variable. So we're going to call it demo var, right? You can name this whatever you want. You can name it apple, you can name it banana, whatever you want. But we're going to do equal, and this is going to look a little confusing, but you'll see why I'm doing it. So what I've learned is that in order to store a variable, you have to do the variable equal and then whatever you want. So if I do if I do this, and actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and proceed with this, just so you see it offhand before I dig deeper. So if I do echo demo var, because when you first create the variable, you do not put the $sign, but anytime you want to recall it, you put the $sign. So we should see dog pop up next after. So if I type bash test sh, see how dog came up? So let's go back and edit it. So, but the thing is, how do we make this come up? How do we recall what's stored here? Because that's what we want, all right? So I'm gonna do demo var, and then you're gonna do $. And after this, you can execute an entire series of commands and it will store it into var, whatever the end state is. So if I do cat var PlexGuide demo ID, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to do echo. We're going to say demo var, and actually you want to do the quotations. I always want to do the quotations. Demo var is a demo var. So basically you're going to see the ID plexguide.com pop up twice, right? So hopefully. That's a great thing about writing scripts out. So sometimes you think it works and it doesn't work. See, plexguide.com is a plexguide.com. So you're like, that makes no damn sense, but again, it's just an idea. So remember how we was talking about creating a variable? So let's call this one soda, right? And so we're going to call, say, Pepsi, right? There we go. So I'm just saying, hey, this goes into this. So we're going to say demo var is a demo var, and we love, and then soda. So remember, always do the $sign. So we're going to go ahead and execute it again. Bash test sh. And there you go. PlexGuide.com is a PlexGuide.com, and we like Pepsi. Now, you're asking me, well, why is it that we're storing a variable into a file? The problem you run into with a bash script is if you nest a script within itself, it's not going to, you think that the variable is like, will carry over, but it won't. That's what you have a global variable for, but I've always found them to be a pain to work with. So I found this to be a great way to just kind of make a lazy database. And again, there is a var folder, and it exists for a reason. So you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's nest a program within a program. So let's call it nano test2sh, right? And you remember how we had, here, let me put 1 second, short-term memory. So we had demo var. Okay, let's go with that. Let's just see which one to go with. And we're going to do echo demo var. Right. So if I bash it anyways, you see nothing happened, right? Because it didn't carry over. Okay, so you're like, well, I'm going to nest itself. So you'll see what I'm talking about here. Nano test sh, right? So I'm going to say echo this, so all that stays above. Echo, so we're going to say bash test to sh, right? So what it's going to do is it's going to execute a script within a script. But what you'll notice is after the tax, there's nothing. So watch this. See? My bad. Test. I know, it's like, why don't you just go ahead and type it right? So you notice it's blank, right? Because you would assume that, you know, plexguide.com would show up again. It doesn't work like that. So to get around that is, like I said, it's just my lazy database. Nano test2, right? So we're going to say cat, let me see, demo var equal cat var PlexGuide demo ID. I think that's what we did, right? So if I bash it by itself, see how PlexGuide.com came up? But let's execute the whole thing, and you notice the whole thing works. So once you kind of understand how to just write and start up a simple script, you'll be amazed by the things you can come up with. It's just a matter of just experience and getting frustrated. Anytime you get frustrated writing this stuff, it's going to help you. So what I've learned to do too is it's like, let's say you found another script or a demo. What you do is you just create a proof of concept. So, you know, this is basically like an if statement. It's basically saying if this file exists, execute this. If it doesn't exist, execute this. So let's go ahead and do this last part here. Something just a little bit micro advanced. So let's create test3. So nano test3 sh, right? And we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and steal this. Right, it'd be great for us. So we're going to go ahead and steal it. And we're going to go ahead and paste it in. Okay, so this is a script that I found, which is awesome. The thing is, like, in the long run, it's saying, okay, look at this variable. So it's looking for a file. So file equals this, right? If the file exists, which this is, if the file exists, then execute this stuff right here. So let's go ahead and delete this stuff. So we want to say echo file does exist, right? And if it doesn't exist, what we want to say here is echo file does. You know what? Didn't I screw this up? Yeah, I screwed this up. Copied a little bit too high. I knew something was off. And again, you're going to get used to this. You start coding, you're going to get used to all this. Okay, so I was like, I know there's like one too many things here. Okay. And again, it's good to see because this is mistakes you can easily make. So echo file exists. And we're going to say echo file does not exist, right? Now the thing is, we know we created demo ID, right? So if this exists, let's go ahead and bash it, bash test3. You see right there? It exists. So it's pretty cool what you can do. So what happens is you start to learn like, well, this is cool because if you learn how to do this, you can execute certain actions, kind of like decision points. Most of you probably understand an if statement, but there's cool scripts out there that can help you do certain things. So I may want you to go to a different menu. I may want you to exit out of PlexGuide. So that's what this typically does based on this. So if I remove demo ID, which you already know it's going to be bad to do, remove var PlexGuide demo ID, right? And if I go ahead and execute this, see how it says file does not exist? So let's go ahead and nest this one in. And again, this is our final thing here. Nest. So we're going to say bash test3 sh, and we're going to go ahead and echo, do a placeholder. Now, if you understand how this whole thing works, the file will say file exists. Why? Because when you execute all this, it's going to end up creating demo ID. But again, it's just a proof of concept, right? So I'm going to go ahead and type test. And there you go. See? So hopefully this video has helped you. And again, feel free to, like I said, go through PlexGuide.com. You can type things that you're looking for. So if I type, which, right? In here, you'll see different types of code in different locations. Sometimes you have to narrow down what you're looking for. But other than that, if you see, the PlexGuide thing come up and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the video. If you got any tips that are way beyond me or something that's simple because nobody knows everything, please feel free to put it in the comments section. Other than that, yeah, just like I said, thanks for being a member here. Thanks for the people donating. Thanks for people contributing to the wiki and pushing code and being tech support on our forum. Because again, we're pretty much all noobs, all trying to help each other. Have a good one. Bye.